Hello everybody, it's Sabre and I'm back with another Guild Wars 2 video. Said I was going to get one of them tonight, so I wasn't lying. Of course, I had to get the little one to bed first, so yeah, parenting comes first. But I am going to do a Guild Wars 2 video. I'm going to go into the content I know you guys are wanting from me. Which is, builds, tips, tricks, stuff like that. So I am going to get into that kind of stuff for today. And I'm probably going to be starting with the engineer. So the engineer is pretty interesting, and of course now there's so many different specializations like that. You saw the base engineer the last video out that I had. When you first make a new character, you pretty much just run around with a flamethrower and you basically call it good. I mean, there's really not much to it, for an engineer when you create a new character. You use a leveling boost, go into some of the starting areas, clear the map on those starting areas, and by the time you're done with each of those starting areas, you should be able to basically be around 74-ish. And you might do one extra area after the starting area. After that, just clear one more area, and you should be level 80. And you also have basic amount of hero points, so that you'll have enough basic hero points so you can start a specialization after that. And then from there on, you go to Thorns. Heart of Thorns is a great, if you have a glider, you have to have a glider really to make this really work. But if you have a glider, you can go around on the first 2 or 3 maps on Thorns, and you can get a bunch of 10 hero point places up there, and you go from there. So, on that note, we are going to go into our Guild Wars 2 game. That's right, I had to restart. That's why I went goofy there for a second. Come on, bring back my sounds. Fortunately, I hit the wrong button there, and now I have to go back to my mixer. There we go. I need to find an actual mixer application that I can actually, just get into this, just have little sliders or something, or have an external one that I can control the audio with. I got to look into that, so that's definitely one of the things I need to look into. And also, don't forget, if you like, comment, subscribe, or if you subscribe, follow, like that, or donate, your name will be popping up on the screen with a little wolf howl, to show my appreciation for doing that too, because you do help out the background when you do that. So again, we're back on our main character. We were playing Raccoon a little earlier this week. Of course, basic. Now I don't have the build out for them yet, so it is going to take a bit before we get to that point to demo what that build's going to be like for an engineer. But I can get to the other 3 engineers. So the one engineer, you can drop your turrets, your bombs, stuff like that. Really, running around with flamethrowers, really all the basic engineers are really good for it, in my opinion. There are builds that were way out there back in the original Guild Wars 2 that was bunker engineers. Basically, you can set up an area in a PvP area, and you can hunker down, and you can basically defend that area basically at all costs and never die. It was a very defensive area, zone off build that you could do while the rest of your team can go off and claim the other parts of the map. But we're not going to get into that today. We're going to get into my Holosmith and Scrapper. Now, these are the builds I like to use. And again, my builds are for fun. It's for fun, functional PvE play. If you want to go find PvP builds like that, maybe later down the road I can break those down for you all. But for now, I'm basically focusing on PvE, getting back into used to the game before I do all the crazy PvP stuff. But we are going to start with my chart, because this is my favorite of the 2. Not saying that the Holosmith is not fun. The Holosmith has some clunky features, in it about overheating and that we'll get into. But we are going to start with Torchiquito, Dagger Rage, which actually is the name of the beast. Because it's eye by power and they have a head of a cat. That's pretty much why I called it Tiger Rage. So that's the codename for a computer. And I was trying to buy these bad puppies here, but for some reason, even though I did this like half an hour ago, I am not getting the gems I just ordered. So I'm not sure what's up with that. Anyways, so this is the scrapper build. Again, PVE, because we do have some elements for PVE for this kind of build. Now, for the breakdown of this, for equipment-wise, basically for anything I do, PVE, I generally focus on just brute damage, unless it is a like necromancer condition build. I generally look at power, toughness, vitality. There are a lot of places in this game where you are going to be alone, running around, fighting things all by yourself when you're in PvE. So what this does, and oh, he actually has my gear. Okay. That's nice to know, so if I want to go farming. Oh yeah. Basically I focus on, yeah, I'm tired. I worked today. Sorry, on my day off. So we're gonna power, toughness, and vitality. Toughness and vitality is the tankiness portions of the game. It's going to give you extra health, extra defense to get through those tough, like one-on-the-world battles that you're gonna have for PVE. So I do PVE kind of different. It's not, you don't want to go into PVE sometimes with a glass cannon build unless you're in an organized, dungeon running kind of group. You kind of want to oh, they made a change with that. Okay, because it used to be that you couldn't use a switch weapons. So that will actually update the build now. What can we put in there for this now? I guess we'll get that in a little bit. With that, and also I do have a spear, Holbrook set. Yeah, I'm just going to be on through this whole thing. I'm sorry. Again, Holbrook set is more tankiness. It reduces the condition damage you're taking, increases the might duration, because you are getting might from this just from swinging your basic one skill. You gain might stacks off that as well. And also get increases the boon duration of those mites and decreases the incoming condition damage you get. Yeah, I'm just going to yawn through this whole thing, guys. I'm just not tired. And just for added protection, it's got a helmet. Which I thought this was pretty cool for a scrapper. It is the scrapper's helmet mask, which for a char, it definitely suits them very, very well. But I'm going to keep it off just so we can see his beautiful face, I don't have a full build, of course, out because, I did take some time off, so I don't have, like, legendary gear or anything. For PvE in general, unless you're doing, like, high-end fractals, like, dungeon diving stuff, in general, exotic gear, fully modded up exotic gear will get you to where you need to go throughout the game. I mean, all you really need is just rare for, like, extra stuff here. You can do exotic for the necklaces and stuff. And also, it would be good if you had a level 80 for a breathing apparatus. Which these you can get for free. And towards the end of the basic game, you can trade for these for free. And, but basically, all you really need is just straight up exotic gear. That's all you really need. So don't go crazy spending crafting. If you feel like you really need to, you don't. All you really need to do is just get a basic set of exotic gear from, just go to here, Lion's Arch, trader, go to the trading post, and then type in, like, say, let's go to armor, do chest, and it breaks it down to sections for you, and just go get a basic armor set that you need for. Just go if you want. Use the cogwheel. Go power. Let's see, we'll go power, toughness, vitality, which is what we're running. And we can limit it to just exotic gear base. level 80 only, and here we go. So here's all the armors that we need. This one's Vitality first. This one has the basic 63 set across. What we want is power over toughness vitality, which is soldiers. Or you could just type in here soldiers in the armor search there, and you can get all the soldier stuff. You can always go back and get particular skins. If you want to make it look nice, go back and you can always purchase the skins you want to modify the armor to make it the look you want. Now, in order to do that, you do have to have these transmutation charges, which I don't remember if they're not. I don't know if they're as plentiful as they used to be, but really all you need is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You only need 8 of them to do anything with. I believe you can get transmutation. Come on, You can get 10 of them, so you need about 10. So you get a full 10 for 270 gold. If you go to exchange, if you go to custom exchange, gold to gems. So if you need, so is it 250 gems, 71 gold. So you can farm 71 gold, which is about 3 or 4 of my farming runs, which take about an hour each. So about 3 or 4 hours, you can just convert your gold into gems, and then use the transportation charges to get the gear you want. So and overall, and because that soldiers was about $4 a piece, and that was the chest part, which is probably the more expensive part. So figure about 4, 10, 20. So 7,100. So 100 gold will get you a full set of exotic armor and weapons, with skin and everything else. You'd have to now that doesn't include actually going out and finding the X skins you want, because that could be any value you could think of out there, depending on what kind of, skins you want. Like this, for leather skin like this, pretty darn basic and pretty simple. Some armor out there actually you can just get with karma and like that from vendors in the PvE areas. So that's also an option for you too, if that's what you want to do. As we get into nightfall all of a sudden. So that's options for you if you want to look and an aesthetic like that. Of course, like I said the last session, all my aesthetics are pretty much silver and black. Armors, a lot of them have the particular shoulder stuff like that. I can just go back there when we switch characters here. I can so that there is a consistency of what my armors look like. This guy and the other engineers really the only differences, but again, they're engineers, so I figured that's where they should be. Bye. Bye, random person running through. So let's put our camera back where it belongs here. There we go. And so, yeah. So for this build, this is a bag of dirty tricks build. It's set up so that you can have a lot of gap closing ability, because it is a melee strictly build. I know, like back beforehand, you weren't able to switch to a rifle build, which is why I have the elixir gun on there to act as your ranged weapon, because you really didn't have that option available to you. But apparently you can do that now, which I think I did see that in an update a while ago. So now we can swap that out when we get there. So a hammer build, again, A does usually about 3 different things. So we have might and vulnerability. Both of it is flat damage dealing. Might increases the amount of damage and power you're doing. Vulnerability increases the damage you're doing to the target and creates a debuff on them. So we have stacking buffs and debuffs to build and build and build the damage of increasing damage to our target as we hit them. Which is why we have a setup where we're increasing our power, increasing duration that we're doing to the target. And also with our other part of a build, if we go into the build part itself, for vulnerability, which is sorry. See, they redid all these, so now I gotta figure out where everything is again. Gosh dang it. It's cleansing. I might have to redo this because it might have changed it on me. Meh. Anyways, but there was a way that you could have like increase the duration on vulnerability, or each time you cause vulnerability, it does other things to happen to the target. But this is all, yeah. But one thing about is important though for engineers is mecha legs. Mecha legs, like, all it does is like it decreases the amount of immobilization, crippling, chilled, which is movement, which decrease movement speed, but does also give you a buff to your base movement speed at 25%. Don't sell that short because when you're fighting in your battle, you don't have the option of using your mount. And if you're strictly a melee character, you want to be able to get around the battlefield as quickly and as efficiently as possible. So, any build that I have that is strictly melee based, I ensure that I have at least some sort of movement speed booster in it. Whether it's from if you cause an attack or you hit a target with bleeding, or you just have a flat base movement speed buff on you at all times, always, always, always get it. It's going to get you to where you want to go in the fight. You're not going to miss any swings or anything in the combat. Grants protections to nearby allies. It's fine. Cleanse a condition from nearby allies. Use healing shield triggers. GED. Okay. I'm wondering if those better ones. The problem is like when they rearrange some of the stuff, Mechala's kind of got stuck in an area where it doesn't really help you as much anymore. But we do have an ability where we can cleanse a condition from nearby allies. When using a healing skill, triggers a cleansing pulse around you. So when I use this, it grants her the condition. Which, if I also want to do that, I can also, when I grant protection, which grant protection to nearby allies when using healing skill. So when I use the healing skill, it grants protection and actually gets rid of 2 conditions instead of 1, which is interesting. And the percentage of a healing applied to yourself is shared. Oh, okay. This is why I picked this one, because the reason why I picked medical dispersion field is because when you get down below a certain amount of health, is that when I take lethal damage, this will automatically heal for 2,000 HP. And if I'm around other people, that's probably a case where they're going to be at low health as well. So when this activates, it will automatically heal all the allies around me for also 1,000 HP. Or whatever the HP is going to be based, because we are in a lower level area. Guild Wars 2, depending on what areas you are in the game, your health and your armor is going to be different. So, in this certain situation, I have 3,600 HP. This heals about 70%, 65 to 70% of that, and a half of that is going to be healed back to up to 5 other allies, which means that they will also be healed for 1,000 HP. Endurance regeneration is always good because you're constantly dodging and moving other attacks because you're in melee range of attacks like that. When I make a dodge roll, it drops a explosive. So I think, which I believe cripples them. I believe so, slows them down so I can get away. Analyze a stealth fall. Okay. Activate a fire shield that burns enemies who strike you, granting you. Okay, which we're not doing. That's fine. Oh, yeah, this is blindness and stun. So when I use a gadget, I can break out a stun. So when I use any of these right here, it breaks out, makes me have a stun condition, which is very, very helpful. And also using these will increase my damage for a little bit and increases my endurance duration, because this will always be full because of these 2 parts right here if I use this stuff right on here. And of course we have our scrapper line. So we have our functioning gyro. Doesn't really do much, honestly. Saving a foe grants you a barrier, this function. So to disable them, going to cause stun, daze, knockback, and pull, knockdown like that. Well, because we do have a hammer build, we are causing knockback. So we have a rocket kick, which is going to cause a knockdown or that effect. We also got why is that healing mist there? Oh, because of the elixir. That's why. Where is it? AD, so stun. So it's also going to have that effect there too. So it's also it's just an added effect for the stunning and knocking down that we're going to do, which we have across the board here. So using heal again. So when this healing ability kicks off, we get a super speed boost. So again, we can move a lot faster, attack a lot faster, like that in case we need to, because we're getting down to a situation where we're probably going to die soon. So that actually increases our speed there. Deal increased strike damage while you have stability, swiftness, or super speed. Well, we actually have swiftness on all the time when we are basically in combat. Actually, this might be changed now, because I don't think we don't get swiftness now, do we? Yeah, I think that changed now, because we don't really get that super speed that we normally get. I mean, we get it here when you use a healing ability, but that's it. I guess this compounds this when I'm, like, low. Because I don't have a way to get increased speed anymore. Because remember when you use rocket boots, I could increase movement speed. But I don't think I really have that anymore, which is kind of weird. That's too bad. Oh, okay. Maybe this was what's supposed to be. This is supposed to be this. So when we gain stability when you gain might at or above threshold. So once we get a might of, so we gain might by just swinging our hammer constantly. So because of that, we are going to get our threshold of 10 fairly quickly, because we get 1 stack of might there, and we have 3 stack of mights on the third swing. So that's 4 stacks of mights there. So about 2.5 rotations of this, of just hitting our target, we're going to gain our stability stacks for 3.5 seconds, which we are extending thanks to other parts of our build. So we gain stability, which because we gain stability from here, we actually gain swiftness on top of that, and also increases the boons that we have on top of that to be last even further. So we're getting stability and swiftness, so it means our movement speed is going to be even higher. So really keep in contact with whatever we're fighting. So that's a little bit better there. So basically it's just trying to stick to the target, increasing our dodging ability for survivability. Because again, this is PvE where you're fighting 1v7, 1v8 sometimes on the targets that you have around you. So you have to be mindful of that. Again, in case our dodging is depleted completely, I actually put in hidden pistol. Just kind of a cute thing. But this does allow us to dodge backwards, so it gives us an additional dodge to try to get out of fight. So instead of just having two dodge rolls, we actually have a third. And if we really need to move in or move out of combat, we have rocket boots to really get in combat. And also, we also have the three ability skill, which is rocket charge, which we actually leap into combat. So we actually have 2 gap closers that way, along with the rocket kick as well. That healing mist, I don't think we're going to... But again, we're going to get rid of this, so it's fine. And then also, cool thing about this hidden pistol is, on the belt, we actually get hidden pistols. And hidden pistols is actually the 3 skill ability on the double pistol assassin build. I'm just going to say assassin build. Where you can pull out 2 pistols and you're shooting them both at once with a volley from range. So that's kind of a cool thing. Like I said, I like functional, fun ways of doing this. And you also have a stun, so if you get to a point where you can have between where is it? The not thunderclap. I think it was electric shield. Maybe it's much of that. Oh, that one, yeah, it is 4. So 4, when you block attacks like that, it actually kind of does damage to the target as well, and you can also shock them in place. So you have this kind of energy thing going on because you're converting electricity because you are an engineer. It's kind of fun. But I think we are going to swap out this this elixir gun. But the question is, what do we swap it out for? We do have battering ram, which is another knockback launcher. We kind of already have that a little bit with the rocket kick, and this will actually give us 2 forms of it, which actually causes cripple. So, is there range? 900 range, actually. That's pretty far. So you actually cripple a target to make sure it stays in that place. We can knock it back too. So again, we got a lot. And hidden pistol, I believe, is a char skill. So again, PvE. Also, all my engineers, I love supply crate. Although the new Jade one, we'll see. But I love supply crate because you could drop all your turrets. So you could drop all these other turrets which you wouldn't normally have on your bar. So you would actually have these. Instead, it drops them all in a crate, and it kind of adds a lot of damage, a lot of healing, and other effects. So, and recharge is pretty quick. It's only like 2 minutes, and the effect lasts for a very long time. Lasts for a minute. So there's only like a 1 minute, really a 1 minute cooldown for that. But essentially, that's pretty much it. So when you use this build, let's see if we can get out into some combat here outside the town.
Allied forces are attacking.
So again, just drop the form. So even though this target's like really far away when we want to try to get to it, we can always rocket boots into it, and then we can 3 skill to really track down our fight. So if I attack, like see, this one's really far away. Rock boost in to get to the target that we want to hit. Start building the might stacks, start building the vulnerability stacks, so really keep popping the damage like constantly over and over and over again. And then for the 3 skill, you can also gap close, jumping ahead. Sometimes the first couple attacks are not going to hit, but you are going to last 1 or at least 2 attacks are going to hit the target, try to get that gap closer. And as we switch targets, if you're going to, if you're fighting on multiple fronts here, you can always drop the 5 skill, which is an AoE kind of almost kind of skill. Drop down your target, and when you jump in, other effects will happen. I didn't get in the field here, but other effects will happen while you're in that field. That's the whole layering effect that Guild Wars 2 has, where you can have ground effects, area effects happening around characters, and it adds other damage types and stuff and abilities to your output as well. So let's figure out this ramp thing. So let's see. This is so this will be minus. That's really actually pretty good. Far away. That's really actually far away. So if they're really trying to run from me and you've used everything, so I can just hit minus, and it shoots it really far away. And there's that dual pistol off the gadget bar for us too. I don't think I've ever used functional gyro. I don't even know what button that's even attached to, because these are attached to these buttons here. So I don't know if that's it's the decimal. Okay, doesn't really go very far away from me though. But it does create another lightning field. So you have multiple lightning fields that I can do. So I have these. Both of these are lightning fields actually. That's cool. And of course, you can always drop your AoE, so you can drop multiple AoEs down. So I can do 5, 0, drop all this stuff down. So I have all these like lightning effects happening all at the same time. And if you kill these early, it does start the recharge process. It won't start recharging, I believe, until after you hit the process. I'll double check on that, but yeah. Again, if you completely dodged and depleted, you can always do that to try to get some further back here. So.
Back in fighting condition.
Alright. So that's basically my scrapper build. It's really fun because you can always stay in the combat, always keep moving. You can get those gap closers done. To try to get back into fights again. You can maintain. Also, by doing those gap closers, and it starts to get the might to fade away. It allows you to keep that might on you, and it gets to the next fight sooner. So you don't have to keep rebuilding those might stacks. So you can just flow from combat to combat to combat to combat to combat as you progress through. And you also have the AED automatic heal to kind of get out of jail free. In case you're fighting. So you don't have to worry about the heal part. Alright. That's it in a nutshell. So let's hit back in the town. So just so I'm in a safer spot when I reload up again. And we'll switch over to my other engineer. Alright. Oh yeah, we're talking about styles here. So again, also same kind of body style here with the silver, kind of like chest plate going here on the styling. You do see I have this kind of pauldrons thing going on, which I believe again silver chest plate kind of thing going on. I think these boots I use on multiples of them. Well, I had it on him, but got away. So again, same thing. This kind of silver chest plate going on with the silver boots coming down. Still got the silver boot theme, silver, kind of cross sections with the diamonds. Still got the silver diamond effect thing going on here with, again, the same kind of boots going on here. Same kind of boots, but we do have the hint of green, so we have the silverish green kind of theme going on. But again, still get the kind of the diamond effect kind of thing going on with the sharp tops on the boots and everything like that. So still got the diamond theme going on, but again, this is bright red, and again, this is the only exception to all the other styles. But again, still have the boots with the kind of point on them by the knee. So you always have that kind of effect on there. This one's the only exception, I think, because of the way the pants are for this kind of armor set. Again, sharp here with the silver there, with the chest plate again. So again, sharpness here with the silver boot. Boom. All right, so that is the theme. So now we're going to switch over to the other engineer that I have, which is the Holosmith. This one's really interesting because you have to manage. This is kind of a la, what's that champion for League of Legends? Rumble. Where if you use too many of the skills at one time, it is going to, unfortunately, allow you to not be able to function with your abilities as much. And I think I also have the same situation where this was last time I played. I didn't have the option to switch. So again, I have this elixir gun that I was using as a far-range weapon, and oh yeah, here's what it looks like without the armor. So yeah. So again, we have this thing where I can actually dual-wield pistols now. Which I think is red. Aren't they red? Oh yeah, they are. Which is why I use those. This is why I'm using those. Nice. Interesting. Cool. But yeah, also I got the shield there, which kind of matches it. It's the Bloodstone shield. So it kind of matches the diamond pattern I got going on with the red and everything. And I think he's using, what is he using? Oh yeah, the sword. Of course, I had to get the, what is it, the Inquest Mark II sword. Because he is the, kind of like the armor in here with like the show, like kind of like the half transparent shielding on the shoulders like that. So I kind of wanted them to keep that look all the way around. So and everything. So I wish the shield effect would look like the shield that you had. So yeah, but that's okay. So for this build, again, we have, I had healing turret because this is kind of more of a bunkerish thing where I'm just throwing down a healing area of effect and just kind of go back into it and come back out. Because with the overheating that you get from using your abilities too much, because this is the heat bar, you do sometimes might have to disengage because you might get stunned or something. So there is a part where you have to kind of fall back and then fall back in sometimes, or you just kind of mitigate it with the engaged photon forge. Oh well, that's something different. Never mind. That increases your heat. So again, you have to kind of like dissipate your heat and manage it. So that's why I have a healing turret to disengage the area, heal up, and get the heat down, then come back in the fray and fight again. So again, we have a situation where we don't have to use the elixir gun. So the question is, what do we put in place of it? Well, hard light arena is interesting, but the area is not as big as what it could be. Spectrum shield breaks stun effects. And create a holographic shield that reduces incoming damage. This skill recharges faster while above the heat threshold. Interesting. Yeah, this guy wishes he was me. A photon wall. Defensive barrier that appears in front of you, then blocks you and your allies from incoming attacks. Reactivate Exceed to fire the barrier at foes as an attack. This skill grants projectile reflection if you are above the heat threshold. Kind of too defensive for me, my taste. Hard light arena would be interesting. I don't think Spectrum Shield would be any good. Hard light arena, it has a really long recharge though, 45-second recharge. Kind of high. Does give us a lot of good buffs though. And ally boon duration goes up by 50%. So those actually go 3 seconds, I guess, technically. 280 is pretty far, actually. I mean, can I actually pick where I want it to go? Not really. It does focus around me, though. This one. I mean, that kind of overlaps each other, though. This lasts for forever, doesn't it? I think. Until you're rid of it. So I guess that's kind of a nice backup for protection and stuff like that. Okay, well, let's go back to the build now. So again, with the sword abilities, you don't really have... I mean, you do have one gap closer. Again, it's your 3 skill. So you can leap in there. But I also have, again, the rocket boots, again, because I like to stick to my attacks like that. And, of course, because we're using a melee build with our fighting, we are going to have the mecha legs activated again as well. So we want to make sure that... we want to make sure we have the base of 25% increase in movement, so we can move around the battlefield as we choose. And we also get the, you know, if you mobilize, cripple, or chill whatever the melee guy is trying to be at you, then yeah, of course you're going to do that to try to get the ward the attackers off of you. But by this, just having this on our bar, now we just move faster, but we get rid of those effects a lot sooner too. So. Grants protection as shield skills. Gain reduce recharge. Oh, so this is their shield skills. We lower the recharge of them. That's what we have there. And again, a percentage of healing you apply to yourself is shared with allies, but I think we don't really need that now, fortunately. Well, we have multiple ways we're causing protection. When we use the healing skill, so we drop this, we cause protection there. We also grant protection to nearby allies when we use shield skills. So cleansing conditions off there when we do these effects over here, that's actually going to be more helpful. Grant fury when you hit foe with an explosion. We do have multiple effects that are actually causing explosions here. So yeah. What's the other one's Grenader? Nope. Glass cannon. Strike damage still increases when above health threshold. So when we're above a certain threshold, our increase our damage by 10%. So in other words, when we have when we lose 1,000 HP, we're already in trouble. We're not getting the extra damage out there. Therefore, we hit foes with an explosion. I don't think we have any other explosive attacks here. No, we're just striking our foes and everything. We're not really hitting with any kind of explosions. Oh, we do have it over here. Prismatic Singularity. But you know what? Let's go with flat damage. That's fine. Fire a seeking rocket at your foe. Huh. Critical hits launch a missile at your target. After enough missiles have fired, an orbital strike will be called in. Explosive entrance grants barrier. Okay. Explosive entrance. Your next attack will explode when it hits your target. Okay. And on that, also gain fatality based on a percentage of your power. Okay. I get it now. Reaching the heat, maximum results in a self-damaging explosion. Photon Forge is disabled until level V is lost. Okay. Your first few attacks after entering or exiting Photon Forge inflict burning. Okay, that's cool. Gain health per unit of heat lost, because we are going into melee and we're fighting and everything. So, yeah. Hollow Elite removes movement impairing conditions, grants super speed instead of swiftness, and inflicts crippled. I think if we
hologram projector engaged.
So it is, where is it? Holly, this one. This is our 2 skill. That's fine. can dissipate the heat. I forgot how to dissipate heat. So yeah, I can't remember everything in this game. A smaller version of that, okay.
Healing turret deployed.
You would think with a healing misting, like turret and everything next to you, you'd think that would lower your heat, you know? And you can also pick up your turrets, which will lower the decrease the duration of that instead of just blowing it up, which will increase it. So. Oh yeah, the photonic blast mode hits other targets instead of you, which also causes vulnerability, increasing your damage output. So vulnerability stacking. So it means I should have armor. This should increase vulnerability stacking, which I don't. So I never did mod the slots for this, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to try to build the rest of it, but this would be increase vulnerability and stuff like that if I had it. But again, power in vitality and toughness, because again, melee PvE, you're taking a lot of attackers on to fight against. Wow, only a level 42 breathing, so I do have to work on him a bit. But anyways, for Holosmith, again, you basically you're fighting with a sword and a shield, so you're basically like a fighter in other types of games. So let's try to get some go up these buggies out front of
Temperature
here.
normalized.
Oh, so you actually get rid of all your you get your heat back, so it doesn't actually go away. Just forgetting them out because it sounded like it did. Yes, I know, there's a fight on the outskirts. Thank you. So again, we can jump in with 3. In case we get surrounded, we also have the 4 skill in our shield, which allows us to knock things away if we want to. Again, if our 3 skill was down, we also have the rocket boots to get us away from the fray here. Stun the target, restun the target again. It's a very, very intuitive build. So we can always jump in, 8, AoE attacks, do multiple damages at the same time, which is always fun. We can do Hard Light Arena. So if we jump in and do that, so jump in 9. We heal ourselves, gain protection, all the while fighting in this area. And it lasts for a considerable amount of time. It lasted way over that part. Now if we can, this has an Ultima mode, I guess you could say, which is this period mode here, which allows us to shoot our targets. Knock our targets down with a hammer.
Can't take any more heat.
But again, because we had that initial damage to ourselves, doesn't happen to myself, it happens to the enemies around me. Then I take the damage, which knocks me back down. But then we always have healing, because it's a DOT. The turret will actually offset that, so as I'm going down, the turret's going to push us back up again. Or we can just regenerate miss. We can always do get a little regen health like this way, so we can always know that when we get overheated, we can always pop the my backslash skill, because I actually use the number pad. I don't use the number pads here. I don't use the letters over here. I actually use the arrow keys in the home up, page down, end in the number pad over here to do all my skills like that. So we go into that mode again and we overheat and stuff. So So we go overheat, so we're going to get to a point where we're going to overheat.
Hot, hot, hot!
And activate this, so we'll be healing. So we're healing it back up as it's going down a little bit, so it did mitigate that a little bit to help. One clunky thing about this, though, is that our leap skill is on 3, but when we enter the Photon Forge
Heat level
mode,
stabilized.
the leap skill actually changes to 2. So you have to remember that when you go into the mode, that gap closer is going to change from 3 to 2. But you also have the 7 skill also to just do the rocket jump to really get you in the fray. Of course, watch when you're getting on elevation, because I did hurt myself when I jumped off that thing. Again, because we have that Mecha Lakes thing going on, we're moving around the field a lot faster than what would be possible. So, because if we didn't have that option on, so let me just switch it to something else for now. See how we're moving a lot slower? It's taking us a little bit longer to get to certain things. Versus when I have Mecha Lakes on, yeah, we're moving a lot faster across the battlefield where we need to go.
Can we talk for a minute?
So. And of course, we do have our supply crate because we're causing an area. Again, engineers all about creating an area of zoning. So by dropping, the arena, the laser disc, the crates, the healing turret, I am saying this is my area that I'm going to fight in. If you come into my area, you're going to lose. You could bring that area out to them when you want to fight and go into other people's areas. You go to those areas, drop everything down. But the problem with that, though, is that they can always run away and find a different area. But since we're in PvE, generally that's not the case for PvE, because wherever area you're going to go into, that's going to be the fighting area, whether it's a boss or whatever. Most of the playthroughs, it's like, well, if you're going to just settle here, I'm just going to go to this other place and this other flag and cap that instead. That's why bunker engineers were so hard to get to, because here, I could drop all this stuff down around me, and all this stuff down around me too. What are you going to do about it? I'm constantly healing myself. I got tons and tons of layers of protection. I have all these other NPCs or pets, I guess you could say, because of turrets, functioning for me to get myself in the combat, now to help me through this combat situation. I'm not the one just fighting you. All these other things around me are fighting you as well. So that's what engineers are. They are a zone place like that. If you played Guild Wars 1, and I said this in multiple podcasts leading up to Guild Wars 2, that the ritualist turned into the engineer. The engineer took other functions, got a little more defensive, a little more bulkier, with the sword, the shields, the hammers, the rifles, pistols, like that. So instead of having a staff to shoot magic at range, you have a pistol and a rifle. And instead of being spirits, they're turrets. Kind of the same. So that's all that it really is for engineer. And if you really like the ritualists from the Guild Wars 1 game, you're definitely going to like the engineers from the Guild Wars 2 game. Or whatever game that you have where you place down pets or engineers or pets or turrets or whatever, you place them down around you to zone kind of areas. This is the kind of character that's going to be good for you too as well. All right. Still haven't seen the gems get deposited in my account, so that kind of sucks. Come on, Ain't what are you doing? So I can't buy those wubbies yet, so I'm kind of disappointed about that. But yeah. So that's pretty much engineers in a nutshell. Now we'll come back to this when I do get the whole Jade robot thing going on here, because that was kind of fun. That was the most attractive of the new specializations that came out in the recent update, or expansion for that matter. So I will put out another video for that. But those are my two engineers, the Holosmith and the Scrapper. And right now, I mean, we are kind of doing basic mode for our brand new character right now. We're a new Savari Mohawk guy. I mean, but if you make a new engineer, pretty much stick to mecha legs and flamethrowers, and add skills and abilities that helps those two things out. You're going to appreciate that. And then as you progress through the game, you get in those areas, get those hero points. Then you branch off and do whatever engineer you want. Right now, Jade Robot engineer guy right now is very popular. Some of the lists I've seen, they are very strong right now. So for this guy right here, going into that, it's going to be really exciting. But the scrapper is, of course, perfectly good. Just be aware that your hammers the hammers and stuff like that is really going to put you in the fray to get things done. Versus the Holosmith, it's the same exact kind of concept with throwing yourself into the melee like that. The only caveat is it's a little more defensive, a little more zony. Not so much like mobile. I can take this thing with me, except for the laser disc, like that one you can. But the arena and stuff like that, that's not mobile to go with you. So that's why I like to go with the healing turn, because I'm saying this is my area, this is my turf. Come at me, bro. That's basically what they do. All right. So that's going to do it for that. Let me know if you want to see some more of these kind of build breakdown kind of videos of what I use. Again, this is PvE. These are not PvP World v. World kind of builds, because again, like the scrapper there, the hidden pistol is a char ability, so you wouldn't have that in those other areas. I remember when beta, those actual abilities were available to you in the World v. World environment. You could have racial skills in the World v. World environment, but they took those away again like we did in Guild Wars 1. So we don't have those anymore. So this is a short video. This will be a short, like, hour video series just to get the content out there. But yeah, let me know what you want in the comments like that. What kind of things you want from Guild Wars 2. Once again, brand new expansion, the Cantha stuff like that. I haven't even gone near that stuff, so that's going to be all new for me. But like I said, any story progressional stuff in this game, I'm going to progress through it with a new character for the meantime until I get a certain point, and then I'll switch to a different character that I'll see that's at about the same point and progress on further through there. Now, the interesting thing about the Savari character, that does give me options to do like Heart of Thorns, because Heart of Thorns was slightly different. If you had a Savari character, the story path was a little bit different because of the spoilers. The Savari was actually supposed to be part of the Dragon's minions, but that seed got separated when it was found. And so that's why there was some mistrust built through rumors within the army about the Savari, because Savari's like, well, these guys are supposed to be the bad guys, so what are we helping them for? That's what that whole thing was about. So yeah, so that story is going to be slightly different for him than it would be for others. So yeah, let me know. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe and follow. Don't forget on my other channel, Sabre Wolf Gaming 2Ms. Tomorrow night it's D&D night, 7 p.m. Eastern. We will be doing a special again for Leo's. Going to be jumping in the DM chair. Bailey is going to be sitting a character on the side, so this will hopefully can get through it all. And then in the near future, our D&D night might slide a little bit to 8, unfortunately. Bailey got a new job. He's going to be doing some training, so he's going to be coming home a little bit later. So he might be starting it at 8, but we'll play that by ear. I might still set up a little bit early, do some like kind of pre-game, I guess, chat, podcast kind of stuffy, you know. Because this D&D is a very deep game. There's a lot of rules and content for it. So, yeah. All right, guys. Well, that'll do it for tonight. I'm going to get some sleep. Tomorrow, Friday, is my only day off I have this week. So I'm going to enjoy it with the pup. The youngest pup. Of course, my older two are with their mother right now. So, for the week. So, yeah. I am Sabre Wolf. Thank you very much. And, yeah. Have a good day.